wanted to show you something that's super exciting. In the spring, friends, babies are born. This is a birdhouse, but there's no birds here, so a squirrel decided to make its home in there. This is a squirrel's nest. You see how soft it looks, like cotton balls in there. They want a nice soft nest for their baby to be born in. Now it's kind of chilly out today, so the mama squirrel is sitting in the nest and she is keeping her baby warm. Okay, did you see her look at you? Can you hear her chirping? A squirrel is a mammal. It's warm-blooded, and that's why she's all cuddled up in there, because it's cold out, but she's trying to keep the baby warm. It has fur. It has 4 legs, boys and girls. Its babies are born alive. That baby did not hatch from an egg. It was born alive, and it drinks its mama's milk. I wonder if we can get a little peek at the baby. Maybe we'll just see the mama today. Girls, look what else I found. I have an animal here, boys and girls. It has fur, hair all over its body. It's not very soft hair. It's kind of coarse, friends. But it has 4 legs. What kind of animal do you think this is, friends? Bethany and Brooke have one of these as well. Theirs are a little bit smaller. This is a pig. What animal group do you think a pig belongs to? Remember I said it has 4 legs and it has fur covering its body? Boys and girls, it has babies. Do you think the babies come in eggs, or are they born alive? Yes, they are born alive, friends. The babies are born alive and they drink the mother's milk. That makes them a mammal, friends. Boys and girls, I have found another animal. This animal has fur, as you can see, covering its whole body. It has 4 legs, boys and girls. It's born alive. It breathes with its lungs air in, and its babies are born alive. And they drink from their mother. They drink the mother's milk. This animal comes from the mammal group, friends. Okay? It's a donkey. It's a miniature donkey. It will not get any bigger than this. Miniature donkeys are domestic animals. They live on a farm, boys and girls. And as you can see, this one's very friendly, isn't it? Boys and girls, I want to introduce you to another mammal, boys and girls. This is a baby, and her name is Berry. This is Berry. She's a baby cow. I can tell she's a mammal because, friends, she's got 4 legs. Fur is covering her body. She's born alive, and they drink their mother's milk. She thinks my fingers are milk right now, so she's sucking on my fingers, friends. But she comes from the mammal group. And again, she is a domestic animal. She lives on a farm. She is like a pet to the owners. Friends, look who's coming up to see us. This is Hollywood. Let's find out what... Oh, look at him. Fun, look at him. He's got teeth. He's got a tongue. He's got 4 legs. He's got fur covering his body. Oh, this is soft fur, friends. What animal group do you think he is from? Huh? I would say mammal too. You're right. That's what I would say as well. He is a mammal. He is a horse, boys and girls. He's a tall horse. How old is he? 13 years old. Wow. He's pretty. And then let's look over here. We have some more horses over here. And they want to come up and say hi. They want to see you guys as well. Boys and girls, look what I found. I found baby animals, boys and girls. These are baby kittens. What animal group do you think baby kittens are in? Well, I don't see feathers. I don't see scales. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 legs, boys and girls. They didn't hatch from an egg. They were born alive, and they drink the mama's milk. Because this is the mama right here. She's coming to see what's going on with her little babies. Look at that. She wants to make sure they're okay. Who has cats at their house? Do you have baby cats at your house right now? If you have a cat, maybe you want to share a picture with us, and we'll put it on Dojo so everybody can see it. Maybe if you're in Mrs. Holmes' class, we'll put it on Seesaw, and your friends can see your pet cat, boys and girls. Oh my friends, we have some more animals here. I found these animals that have 4 legs. Oh my. And they have lots of fur covering their bodies. Boys and girls, they are born alive, friends. They drink their mother's milk when they're babies, friends. What else can I say about these? What group do you think they come from? You are right, you got it. They come from the mammal group. Friends, we have seen a lot of mammals today, haven't we? These mammals are goats. They are called Laverne and Shirley. That's their names, Laverne and Shirley. They're fainting goats, so if they get scared, they will faint. They'll just fall right over and faint. They love food. Can you tell they like food? Now, boys and girls, you will see that these goats are eating right out of my hand. They like to climb, don't they? They're eating right out of my hand. Boys and girls, I'm not scared that they're gonna bite me because they don't have teeth on the top. They only have teeth on the bottom. They use their tongues to lick the food to get it in their mouths. That's what they're doing, okay? So they're not scary, and they love to eat, they love to play and investigate and climb. Boys and girls, we're looking at animal groups this week, and we have looked at lots of mammals. These right here, the animals that are coming here right now, are from a very unique group. They come from a group that a characteristic is it has 2 legs. Not 4, but 2. And boy, oh boy, I have another animal here too, another mammal. These are called chickens, and they have 2 legs, and they have feathers covering their entire body, boys and girls. And they have, friends, they have wings, 2 wings. They lay eggs, and they hatch from eggs, friends. They lay eggs, they hatch from eggs. What group do you think they're from? They are from the bird group, friends. They're from the bird group. What do you think of that? Do you have any animals from the bird group at your house? Boys and girls, the bird group, the mothers do not have milk in the bird group. They eat food. As soon as they're born, they eat grain. They don't eat meat, they eat grain. Boys and girls, here's a chicken. Remember, chickens, we said, come from the bird group again, and birds lay eggs. So this chicken is laying on an egg that it just laid. So if I go like this, friends, look at, I can pick her up. And this is something I've never done since I was a little girl. So I'm being brave. Oh man, the egg is warm. That's what she laid. This is the eggs that you get when you go to the store. Chickens lay those eggs, and this is just like what you get when you go to the store. Thank you, Miss Hen, for the egg. Boys and girls, do you notice the chickens are sitting in, it looks like a hole in the ground. They're taking a sand bath. That's what it's called, a sand bath. You see him rubbing around? He's cleaning himself in the sand. When he gets done, he'll get out of the dirt and he'll flap his wings and get the dirt. All the dirt and sand comes off and he's nice and clean. Boys and girls, we've been looking at lots of mammals lately. The bird group, we found one bird group animal, and that was the chickens. They have 2 legs and they have 2 wings. They are birds. This, I almost walked right by her, boys and girls. She's so camouflaged with the ground. This is called a killdeer, boys and girls. And a killdeer is from the bird group. You can see it only has 2 legs and she has 2 wings. And you can see that she's laying eggs, so her babies hatch from eggs. Killdeers make their nest on the ground, boys and girls, and they camouflage it with all of the grass around. There's not a lot of green grass, you see. In the spring, we still have some dead grasses, so we have browns and greens, and it kind of blends in with her color. So when you walk by, you don't really see it. If you look very carefully, you might see her eggs in the nest, friends. Her eggs are speckled. They look tan and brown with speckles on them. So if you walk by, you might think it's a rock or dirt in the ground. And that way, you don't harm her eggs. And they're safe. Boys and girls, look what else I found. Another animal from the bird group. We do not see the adult here, but we see babies. They're not hatched into babies yet, but they are growing into babies inside the eggs. This is a swallow. Swallows like to eat insects. The mother, which we don't see her yet, but she will swoop down if you are by her eggs to try to protect them. That's her response. Remember, living things, they respond. So her response would be to swoop down to try and tell us, stay away from my eggs. Boys and girls, we are here in Mrs. Blumdahl's room at the high school right now. She has an animal in her room. So friends, I want to introduce you to Tango. This is Mrs. Blumdahl's pet in her classroom. There are some things that I want you to look at right now as the camera's coming a little closer, and they're going to give you clues as to what animal group Tango is from. Now, first of all, I noticed there's a light in here, boys and girls. Now, why do you think that Mrs. Blumdahl has a light shining down on her pet? Do you think it's because the pet is scared of the dark? No, if I put my hand under here, boys and girls, it feels nice and warm. This light is keeping her pet warm. Why would her pet have to stay warm, friends? Well, there are warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals. Remember I told you about that? Do you think this animal is cold-blooded, so it needs the light to keep it warm so that it doesn't get cold on the inside of its body and it can move? That's my thoughts, is cold-blooded animal. If you look really close at this animal, friends, I don't see any fur on its body at all. I see something that looks really rough, like scales. I do see 4 legs, boys and girls, okay? And if you look really super close, you can see it's breathing. It has lungs, and it breathes air into the lungs. Now, this animal hatched from an egg, okay, boys and girls? So it hatched from an egg. It's cold-blooded. It's breathing with its lungs, and it has scaly skin with no hair. That, my friends, is a reptile. Tango is a bearded dragon, and he's a reptile. I'm not going to hold him because, friends, I'm a little scared of reptiles. I don't know about you, but we'll just let him lay in there. If you look in the back of his container here, you'll see there are some mealworms, and then there's some veggies in there. Boys and girls, reptiles, some reptiles are meat eaters, and they like to eat vegetables as well. So here's an example of a reptile. Boys and girls, we've talked about mammals, and we've looked at mammals. We've looked at birds. We've looked at reptiles. We have not looked at insects yet. Insect is another animal group, boys and girls. And it's just spring, so we're not going to see a lot of them, but this is a spider. I know he's from the insect group because, boys and girls, he's covered with an exoskeleton. I don't know if you can see that. And he has 6 legs. He's moving right now, but if we could look close up at him, we would see 6 legs. He has 3 main body parts. He has the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Boys and girls, they hatch from eggs. So insects hatch from eggs, and you can see his legs, and he's moving around. Would you like to have one of those crawling on your arm? All right, friends, here is another insect. Insects can also have wings, boys and girls. They can have wings, or they just have their exoskeleton. You can see the legs on this. How many legs do you count on this insect, friends? And now we're looking at an amphibian. Amphibians are going to be hard to find right now because it's still so cold outside. Amphibians, as you can see, have no hair or fur on their body. They have moist, smooth skin. When they have feet, they're usually webbed. So an amphibian, boys and girls, are going to either have 4 legs or no legs at all. This amphibian right now has no legs at all. Amphibians are cold-blooded, and they breathe through their skin. They lay eggs that hatch, so their babies are born from eggs. Now, what do you think this is right here swimming around in the container? Yes, this is a tadpole. So amphibians, and like I said, living things, they change as they grow. They don't stay the same, they change. So a tadpole hatches out of an egg, and it looks something like this. This is a little bit bigger one, but this is what they look like. They have no legs, and they breathe in the water, boys and girls, like a fish. But as it gets older, it's going to grow legs, and I think there's maybe a little stub, if you can see carefully, that's starting to come out. So they're going to grow their legs, and then when they get bigger, their tail is going to be gone, their legs will be here, and they will stop breathing underwater. They'll have to breathe air above the water, okay? So what does a tadpole turn into? It turns into a frog, boys and girls. It turns into a frog. Now, cold-blooded, well, like I said, amphibians are not around right now a lot. We're not going to find them in the cold weather because when they're cold-blooded, if it's cold outside, the inside of their body temperature gets very cold and they have a hard time moving around. So a lot of them are just trying to stay dormant and warm. Once the sun comes out and the temperature rises, we will see more and more amphibians around as they start coming out from being dormant. All right, friends, here I have an animal from the fish group. This is a fish. Fish have no fur. They don't have any hair. They are covered instead in scales, kind of like reptiles have scales. Fish have scales also. Fish live in the water. Some live in salt water and some live in fresh water. This fish lives in fresh water. All fish breathe with their gills, and they have fins that help them swim. Now you can see this fish is pretty quiet and still right now. So can you see the fins on this fish? Can you see the gills moving as it breathes? They are cold-blooded, friends. Cold-blooded, remember, means that if it's really cold outside, the inside temperature of their body is going to get cold too. If I put this out in the winter time, boys and girls, and left it out, it would probably freeze solid because it's cold-blooded. Warm-blooded can freeze too, but would not be able to move very well because it would be so cold. Most fish lay eggs. This fish hatched from an egg. He is still pretty small, friends, but he's going to grow into a bigger fish. Now, if I put him back in the lake, maybe he'll grow into a bigger fish, and maybe you'll catch him one day. All right, boys and girls, here is another animal. It is a fish, friends. And as you can see, Mrs. Manson's really scared to touch fish, so I have gloves and I have a towel to try to touch him. Now, do you see his scales? Do you see his gills moving? That's how he breathes. That's how I can tell he's from the fish animal group, is because he has gills, he breathes underwater, and he has scales on his body. He also has fins, friends. Do you see the fin right here? See that fin? Look at that, I can fan it out. Is there any fins? And there's a fin up here. Look at that fin. Those fins help him swim in the water. So does his tail. He has like a fin on his tail, and that helps him to go in different directions. These fins up here sometimes help so that he doesn't tip upside down, friends. And that is a fish. What kind of fish do you think this is? Where's my fisherman friends? What kind of fish is this, boys and girls? I think that I am not going to eat this fish. I'm gonna put him back in the water so that he can go find his family, all right? Here we go. Tell me when you got it. They have wings. Woo, they have wings. And they have beaks. What group do you think they're from? They have 4 legs, don't they?
Their fur is scratching on top.
Oh, it is. Oh, that's not soft fur. That's coarse. Bird with hair. It has 4 legs. It's warm-blooded.
Okay, we gotta start. Okay.
Okay. Okay, are you taping? Stop and start again.
Okay,
Show me this. Find another animal. Here is a chicken, and she's laying on the egg that she just hatched. Start over. And protect the egg. So if I go like this, look at, whoops, what do you see under this chicken? Whoops, what do you see? Just a second, because I want to take the perch. Say, I agree. And look at this. What do I have over here? I have 2 animals. Oh, wow. And now they're gone. Come over here, because I can edit all this stuff out.